welcome back to Orange Peelers. A very special episode today because it's not Orange Peelers Day, it's Origin Peelers.
Okay.
We're doing the Game 1 preview, Zane. How are you?
I'm excited for Origin. More excited than what I've been for the past few years, seeing all these new players for the Blues go out there and see how they go.
What are you more excited for, this podcast or the actual game?
Both. Very
It's
equal.
a tie?
It's a tie.
It's a tie.
Very tight between them, Mo.
I'm sure the people out there tuning in to Origin Peelers, they're like, screw State of Origin. I'm not even going to watch the game. I just want to see the preview.
I'll be watching it from the comfort. I'm not going up there, unfortunately. I'll be watching it from the comfort of my own home in the anonymous location in the Illawarra that no one will know about.
I heard you actually might be watching it in the studio.
Maybe,
in the studio.
I may be.
In the Orange
Probably will be.
HQ. We've increased the budget a little bit and we're going to do a bit of a... I was going to say live stream. No, we're not live streaming State of Origin, but we've got Zane a TV and a couch and a popcorn machine. Maybe order you some pizzas. What is actually...
I'll order some pizzas
on the topic,
myself.
this is just completely off the cuff. What is the best food to eat while watching State of Origin at home?
Watching State of Origin. What would I eat? I normally drink Coke or beer, whatever is around. Or
but what about food?
Popcorn wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah.
We'll get chips. I guess just like Smiths, which are like $8 now, so I don't even bother going to buy them because of how much of a rip-off they are. But
that's a joke. Doritos?
I don't like Doritos.
Oh,
Never have.
Really?
I don't like nachos. That's why with nachos, not a fan.
That's weird. Do you remember, this is like, we're getting well off topic to start an Origin preview, but do you remember at Accor, they used to sell nachos? Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
That was like, that's when I was a kid.
You know that new burger joint that's behind where the kennel and the burrow is?
Yeah. Jana?
Yeah. I went and bought a burger there the other day, chicken burger. Guess how much it was? For a burger
They're
like
like
this.
18, aren't they?
16.
16. It's
Never doing
ridiculous.
it again.
I only knew the price because...
Never going there again.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was a shop. Like, there's no hot dogs or chips. It was just burgers.
Oh,
I'm like...
Yeah, tell Jana, bro. If you're a Doggies fan, you'd be all over
I'm like,
it,
I may as well
mate.
go get one. Then $16. I was like, oh.
It's Lebanese food.
I'm like, never going there again.
Why do you think it's outside the kennel?
Yeah, well, or the burrow. But
I like to go to...
honestly, just going to walk to the other side of the stadium now just to get food, if that's the case.
I like to go to El Jana, not that one, but like an actual El Jana store. There's one in Bankstown I like to go to.
$16 for a burger like this big. Excuse me.
At actual El Jana, they're cheaper. Like it's a $3 or $4
it's because
markup
they
at the
got the
stadium.
rent at the stadium, obviously.
it's
But
wild.
seriously, like
Was it good?
$16. Well, not $16 worth, but it was fine. Like maybe $5 it would have been good. But honestly,
circling back to where we first got off track.
if you're going to Origin on Wednesday night, don't go there. Just,
Don't go to El
unless
Jana.
you're down to spend a lot of money.
Go to like Bankstown or Campbelltown. Well, Campbelltown's a bit of a trek, but like go to Bankstown or Punch Bowl El Jana before the game. That's like 20 minutes away from the stadium, bit cheaper. Pre-game food feed.
Yeah.
We could go to...
I always say this at a core. I'm like, I may as well get some food. And I see the price. I'm like, never doing that again. And then a few weeks later, I'll go do it again. And I'm like, well...
Mate, how do you think I feel doing hot dog reviews every week? They're
the
like
hot dogs are
so expensive.
Not like Cronulla's like $8 ones or whatever they were.
Nah, yeah. That was... I think they were $9 at Cronulla. They were like $7.50 at Suncorp. I was lucky on the weekend.
Just saying, at a core, just sneak your food in. They don't check. They sometimes look in your bag.
You don't have to sneak food. You're allowed food in.
No, you're not really, are you?
Yeah, you are.
Are you?
Yeah, because when I went to the footy as a kid, my mum and dad always packed like chips and stuff for us.
Yeah, well, Win Stadium are strict on food.
Really?
Yes.
There you go. Far out, we're off topic, but I love it.
They don't confiscate it, but they'll like they'll scowl you for it. Like I think they will let you in, but they'll...
You're not allowed cans and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure you're allowed food.
No,
otherwise my mum and dad have been
cans
breaking
into
laws.
games before.
Yeah, naughty.
Just had them at the bottom of my bag because the
true.
security.
Yeah, they do
just
nothing.
like look in and just.
Mate, I got kicked out. It's like well documented. I got kicked out for having my mics in the stadium, and I sneak them in every week.
Same security guard wasn't happy with me having my feet up on the chair in front of me, and I'm like, I'm standing to watch the game, thank you. Like no one's sitting there. It's literally where the sign of the borough was.
And
like
nobody sits in the borough anyway, so there's plenty of empty seats at the moment.
Well, the loyal ones are still there.
Anyway, let's circle back.
we're talking about Origin now.
We've gotten very off topic, but I'm here for it. I'm okay with that. But I want to quickly circle back to the best food to eat during Origin. You've gone with chips.
Probably.
Smith's chips when they're not $8.
Has to, yeah.
I'm going to go with... I'm a big pizza guy. I like pizza.
I'm actually considering ordering pizza for tomorrow night. To tell you the truth.
There you go. A pizza place in the Illawarra near our secret location.
Domino's,
reach out. Somebody sponsor
Domino's
us.
up in Ferry Meadow, which is about 10. Well, I'm not going to say exact. Probably about a 10-minute delivery fee, but
People are going to get on Google Maps and be like, "Oh, what's 10 minutes away from Fairy Meadow Domino's.
Yeah, it's a big place here, Laura. So
I'm a big fan. Now we're getting off topic again. This is good stuff. But my favourite pizza in Wollongong. What's yours? I'm trying to remember the name of mine. It's like across. It's near Woolies. Do you know the pizza place near Woolies?
Which one?
I don't remember the name. I'm trying to remember.
Which Woolworths though?
I'm sorry, like Wollongong Woolworths in the CBD.
Oh, is it called Crust?
No, not Crust. I can't believe I've forgotten because it's such good pizza.
Crust is the one that's near the Performing Arts Centre. I've been to a few times.
Is that I can't. We're so off topic, but is that your favourite pizza in Wollongong?
Crust is good, but I'm trying to think of more.
I'm trying to. Oh, it's got like an Italian name. I can't believe I've forgotten it. I'm so.
Let me just say, even like a bowling club, like the Lenby Bowling Club, has some really nice pizzas there.
Yeah.
Like thick crust. I'm like, oh, take that.
That's what you want. All right, hang on. I'm gonna Napoli's.
Okay.
Napoli's gun.
Well,
best pizza
crust is there for
there you go. It popped up first.
Yeah.
Anyway, circling back again
Let's talk
to
about
favourite origin foods. I'm going with pizza, but unironically, hot dogs as well. But like homemade hot dogs with the red on. I actually lost my first tooth eating a hot dog watching State of Origin. There you go. Fun fact. I swallowed it as well. I bit into the hot dog.
What origin was this?
It would have been before we broke the drought. We're talking like 2012 maybe.
Yeah.
Like, probably like 2010.
I lost my first tooth like 2012.
I reckon 2009 because I was in kindy in 08, so maybe year one.
Yeah.
And bit into the hot dog, tooth came out, didn't realise and then I just felt like something hard and like swallowed the hot dog.
Tooth
gone, cried.
Yeah.
I cried.
No tooth fairy money.
Nah, that's why I cried. I needed the money, man. Anyway, all right, let's get into Origin. Goodness me. How many people have tuned out by now?
Yeah.
Going, what is this podcast?
Talking off cast. But anyway.
All right, Zane. Game 1 in Sydney. You read me a little stat right before we started. What was it?
New South Wales have not won a game 1 in Sydney since 2013.
There you go. So not great.
Yeah, that wasn't the streaky game. No, the streaky game was the decider that year.
2012.
Yeah.
No.
That was the decider for 2013.
Yeah. But
that game was when Paul Gallen belted Nate Miles.
Yeah.
That was game 1, 2013.
Yeah, there you go. So maybe somebody needs to belt someone.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So who is there? Like,
yeah, who's going to fight?
Oh, I feel
it's got to be Lenu and someone, right?
Lenu is the most likely, and who from Queensland would?
I was going to say Carrigan, but he only fights his halfbacks.
No, Carrigan doesn't really have a fuse. Like, who's got a fuse from Queensland? Like, I was thinking, like, Corey Horsburgh was there last year, but he's
true.
Lenu could. I'm trying to think for the Queensland.
They've got a pretty kind lineup, to be honest. Like, they got Cotter at prop with Collins. I'm like, neither of them
could end up being
anyone.
someone like Dan Gaggar's not there. What am I doing? I can't think.
Yeah, no, there's like, I can't think of anyone. Like from, I don't know.
It could be like someone like Selwyn Cobbo being.
He's on the bench.
Yeah, but he could come. Yeah, Lenu's on the bench as well. But
yeah, true. I'll pay that. But he's also like a winger.
I'm trying to think. Like Queensland's back forwards are pretty like friendly people. Like,
pretty friendly. Is it the friendliest forward pack?
I'm not saying Lenu's not a friendly guy, but you know we've seen him in the past.
I would not call Spencer Lenu friendly.
Got a bit of a fuse on him.
I know what you're saying. They do have a pretty friendly forward pack, and now I'm like,
which is a good thing, I think.
Well, it's a good thing for New South Wales, not for Queensland. If you're rolling into Origin with a friendly forward pack, you're not going to win Origin. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'll predict.
This is their forward pack. Cotter, Collins, Sewer, Nanai, Carrigan, Grant, Fodawaker and Hopgood. They're all nice guys. Like, Fodawaker's probably the bloke most likely.
If Ezra Mann came in, that would be an interesting matchup. But
even like Tom Dearden and Cherry Evans are nice people.
Yeah, Collins is a pretty...
Coates is a nice guy. I feel like everyone in Queensland are just
could
nice
be like
people.
Walsh even, like Lenu and Walsh, Luai Walsh, something like that.
I feel like Walsh is a nice guy.
Yeah, but he's got like
he's got a bit of dog. We saw him last year. Yeah,
and Addo Carr came in and threw that. And then he got
the dumbest punch.
Gets sent off, points at the badge, and then Walsh does the same thing. Gets the chair. I'm like, well, Foxy, come on, mate.
Anyway, we're talking about Queensland and their friendly forward pack. Genuinely, their friendly lineup. They're not winning Origin with that squad. No way. They're too nice. Let's talk about Queensland. We did it last week on the podcast, but we'll do it again. We're going to go through their 1 to 17, and instead of grading them on how friendly they are, we're just going to talk about, what we think of their lineup. So at fullback, Reece Walsh.
No surprise there. If Ponga was available, it'd be a bit of a debate, but
I'd still probably go Walsh.
Yeah, so would I.
I was thinking about it when Edwards got ruled out. I was thinking, like, who is the best fullback in the NRL at the moment? And honestly, I think it's Reece Walsh.
Oh, that's Latrell Mitchell's meaning. I guess, but we won't talk about it.
Connor Tracy.
Yeah.
No, I think it would be between Walsh and Edwards.
Yeah.
And they're different kind of fullbacks. And then Tedesco, and then obviously like
Pappenhausen and all that.
Gutho's always up there. But like I think Reece Walsh, probably the best
Tyrell
fullback.
Sloan's been having a really good year.
He's up there on our Orange Peelers leaderboard.
Yeah, well, this year I think he's been solid. Like he hasn't, he had a really good game against
He beat the Panthers, yeah. But, yeah, I think Reece Walsh, arguably the best fullback in the NRL, and so he's obviously going to be the Queensland fullback. It is disappointing, and we'll get to it, but him versus Edwards would have been such a good battle. Now that I think of like them probably being the top two fullbacks in the NRL. The wingers, Coates and Taulagi.
Taulagi was one that I know Billy Slater's a big fan of, but I would have expected Selwyn Cobbo just to be a shoe in there, but we'll get to Selwyn Cobbo soon.
Yeah.
It's been named on the bench, but Xavier Coates just named himself really.
Yeah.
Like,
the aerial threat as well, obviously. That's a big issue every year that is talked about for New South Wales, and they seem to pick their team based on that thing, the aerial threat, and Coates and Cobbo, who's not named, as you said, both very good in the air. We've seen Coates scored the try of the year. It's when you're watching the NRL at the moment, when there's a sick try scored, you just think, oh, that's probably the second best try this year.
Yeah.
Because nobody's topping what Coates did against the Wars.
Then we go.
Yeah, the centres.
Holmes and Tabudai Fido, or should I just say Hammer, just to make it easier?
The Hammer.
Hammer has had probably one bad game all year. Speaks for himself. He's definitely in there. Then Holmes I was questioning because I don't think he's had a great season, but he's been good, but not peak Valentine Holmes. Defensively, he's got a bit to work on. But
I agree.
I can still solidify his spot there. Like, I think, is it because they need a goal kicker? Like, who else can kick goals?
Yeah, true. I mean, they've got Daly Cherry Evans, Reece Walsh. They've got plenty. It's actually, that's a point that I want to talk about, is just the goal kicking ability of both teams. Like, both teams are
going to kick for the Blues. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. 'Cause that's something I do want to touch on because I don't know. Like, I've made them in Rugby League Live 4, and it's hard to pick who the goal kicker is. I guess Edwards being out makes it a little bit easier.
I feel like it might be Lomax, but we'll see that.
We'll get to it. Hammer picks himself. Holmes, as you said, bit shaky. I thought there was a world where they went Gago, but Queensland, they like to pick and stick, and Holmes will do a job. Holmes is a good player.
Gago's kind of towards the end of his career now.
Mate, if you can get an ex-NFL player into your Origin lineup, not bad. Not bad. The halves, no Munster, so it's Tommy Dearden and, shockingly, Daly Cherry Evans.
Who was told in 2015 or whatever he'd never play Origin again, but they ran out of options and he got named and now he's captain.
He was on the back page of the Queensland papers in a New South Wales jersey saying that he's a filthy cockroach and should never play for Queensland. And now look at him, captaining the state for the 8th year in a row.
And then we got Dearden, who probably is the best replacement for Cameron Munster, although Ezra Mam has been in outstanding form, and so is Sam Walker, but I think Sam Walker is more of a halfback. And when Cherry Evans retires, which I don't think is very far away from happening, Sam Walker will get a shot then. Yeah,
100% agreed. And as you said, Ezra Mam, probably the leading candidate outside of Tommy Dearden, but I just think Tommy Dearden, he's been in there before, he's dominated before. You could argue he came in and won Queensland the series, not last year, the year before, in Game 3 when Munster got COVID.
Yeah.
I remember when Munster got COVID, I was like, New South Wales have won, and then Tommy Dearden broke our little hearts. And Ben Hunt famously broke our hearts. In the front row, it is Ruben Cotter and Lindsay Collins. Obviously, as we said,
they speak for themselves.
Friendliest front rowers in Origin history. The C's, Cotter and Collins. Yeah, I think they speak for themselves. I think, did you have Cotter on the edge?
I did,
Yeah, obviously he can play multiple positions, and he'll probably spend a bit of time on the edge, to be fair, especially the way their bench is. But Collins, obviously, he was out. Was he Wally Lewis medal last year? He was outstanding.
No, it was Cotter who won.
There you go. So you can't argue with that. They've got multiple Wally Lewis medalists in their team. Ben Hunt,
which I personally reckon they should be starting Grant and having Hunt on the bench as like more of a utility who can go anywhere.
I disagree, but that's just because this is what they do every single year, and every year everyone's like start Grant, and then they always just start Hunt and. They kill us.
It works, so.
Because usually Ben Hunt will rotate into like 13 and stuff. They've got it down pat. The back rowers, Jaden Sewer returns to Origin.
I expected Sewer to make the side, not start necessarily.
Same.
I thought he'd be on the bench.
I thought he definitely deserved to be.
They've completely taken Dave Fafita out for Jaden Sewer, which I personally disagree with. I don't think Dave Fafita's done anything to lose his spot this year.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think David Fafita probably should have started, and I would have had Sewer on the bench.
Yes.
I think Sewer's been really good this year and deserves to be picked, but David Fafita, who hasn't been picked at all, he's
one of the best back rowers in the competition, easily. Yeah. And it's strange that one, but
he's in form as well.
So do you reckon if Queensland lose, do they chop and change and do they bring Fafita back in?
Fafita will come in if they lose. Surely.
I reckon he will.
Surely. But the other back row, Nanai obviously picks himself. He's another aerial threat, low key.
He's been a bit more quiet this year, but he's still doing his job. Maybe because he's not as hyped as what he was
in his rookie year. Yeah. But like even like Fafita again missing out. I would have had Fafita ahead of Nanai as well, like easily. But once again, they like to pick and stick, and that's not a knock on Nanai. I think he's quality. Here's another one though where you'd almost expect him to come off the bench with Fafita starting ahead of him. But
I had him on the bench.
Yeah, there you go. And then Paddy Carrigan at lock.
Yeah, speaks for itself there.
And he's probably the future captain, realistically, when Delacherry moves on. He's such a good player. Another Wally Lewis medalist.
Then we got Harry Grant, which we already spoke about. Mo Fodawaker, which I had him in my side starting, I think, which I guess just, solid player. Deserves a shot in Origin. Gets off the bench, it works.
Has he played? He
played last year,
But he'll be good impact off the bench.
He flew under the radar for quite a few years. He's been around for a little while, but last year I think he really came out of his shell and really gives it a go for the Titans every single week. So
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's great to see him in there.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember when he debuted. Probably
just like in the NRL.
Yeah, I think it was like 2018 maybe.
Let me have a look.
Like I've known his name. Like he's been there.
Yeah, he's been around for a little bit.
I think he won Titans.
2018.
I think he won Titans Player of the Year last year, didn't he?
He might have. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head, but he definitely might have.
Definitely can't bag his selection. It's just
it makes sense. And then Hopgood,
people were calling for him last year.
I was going to say, this is his debut, right? He was, I think, 18th man last year.
People were calling for his debut last year when he killed it early in the season, but
Hopgoat.
It's been not say fallen off this year, but he hasn't been as strong. Maybe that's because of Parramatta's form.
Yeah, I was going to say.
If you remember, Parramatta were in pretty bad form early last year when he was killing it, but I guess give him a shot.
I think he is a bit of a victim of Parramatta's form, and to his credit, he's probably been one of their most consistent players as well. I think he deserves to be there, and I'm excited to see him break in. I know somebody else excited to see him play Origins, probably Rugby League Guru. He'd be, I'm not going to use the language, but he'd be excited. He'd be excited. And then the biggest talking point outside of Fafita?
Selwyn Cobbo on the bench.
Yeah.
Is this just Billy Slater just not wanting to leave him out and just like, just go on the bench.
Just pick everyone. This is like 8th place, Ruben, do you reckon? Just give everyone a go. Nah, it's weird. It is weird, but if I'm going to sit here and bag New South Wales for not picking a utility on the bench...
it can be like Brad Fittler's predicted side or what he would have done and had a hooker and a back on the bench. And
which is what they've done. I guess you could argue Grant and Hunt, one of them is going to rotate into the forwards anyway. Yeah. So
Cobbo is going to be there if there's an injury in the back line.
Yeah, I was going to say...
said there's always one. There always seems to be one.
Do you think he plays or not?
I reckon he might.
If there's no injury.
He comes on the field within the first 10 minutes.
What?
I reckon someone's going to get injured.
No, but I'm saying if there's no injury, does he play?
I reckon if the Queensland are up with 10 minutes to go up, just let him on.
Just toss him on, like Gutho last year in Game 3.
Yeah, even like Tyrone Peachy when he played that time.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, he played Origin on the bench.
Yeah, wild times. Yeah, I don't see how he plays unless, there's a flogging or an injury.
You've seen in the past, there's always a back that goes down early.
Well, I pulled out some stats, Zane. Let me pull up some stats I pulled together. Give me 1 sec. Talk to me about... We're going to be a little bit about Selwyn Cobbo while I find these stats.
Oh, Selwyn Cobbo is just a tank of a player. I remember when he debuted, I'm like, this guy's playing Origin in a few years, but he's become one of the best wingers in the competition recently, honestly.
Would you have had him over Tuolangi?
Yes. But I know Billy Slater thinks highly of Tuolangi.
Yeah. Tuolangi's a good player, to be fair.
Yeah, he is, but I'd still have Cobbo on the side over him.
So here's the stat. In 70% of the last 10 Origins, an outside back has been injured. 2020 Game 3, Tedesco and Walker. The next 2 games, none. And then Game 3, 2021, Holmes. Game 1, 2022, Staggs and Coates. Then Ponga in the next game, Cobbo in the next game. And then 3 in the game after that with Turbo, Cobbo and Talangi. Turbo again in Game 2 last year, and then no one in Game 3.
It's bound to happen.
So not only is it 70% of the time,
you watch it end up being...
There's been more than 10 outside backs injured in the last 10
You watch Talangi get injured early in the game, and Queensland's come and say, mind games, he was always going to play Cobbo. You ignore what the media say. God.
Obviously, before... Kafusi's currently 18th man with Piakura and Ezra Mem in the squad.
Even Kafusi over Fafita, what?
Yeah, and Piakura.
And what's Fafita done to really upset Billy here? Honestly.
Just on the topic of Queensland, obviously during the week, Harry Grant got a little bit of a flu. There was a bit of a flu went around camp.
I remember the Matty John show I was talking about when Queenslanders got sick that time. Jacob William and Aiden Guerra. Yeah. Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, good times that.
Obviously, it seems to happen every single game. A Queenslander gets injured. Not injured.
Sick.
Sick. I was going to say, usually there's a bit of an injury as well. Which Queensland player is going to get injured before the game? Because it happens every time.
Murray
Bit of an injury.
Murray Taulungi.
Murray
Yeah.
Taulungi has mind games.
Yeah, it's mind games. You're right. She'll be, wow, okay. And so when Corey comes in, we all saw that coming, didn't we?
Anything else on Queensland before we move
I
on?
prefer not to talk about them.
All right, Zane,
Hope
wigs
they
on.
lose.
Wigs on.
Yes, do we cut or we just
Nah,
go straight into
straight
it?
into it, mate.
Oh, gosh.
When
See
we
how long
talk-
this hurts my head.
When we talk about New South Wales on this podcast, we wear our mighty blue wigs, and if you probably can't tell, but they're very tight and they hurt your head.
They do, but
Oh, it's not that bad.
I'll tolerate it for now.
It's a bit of a. Do you go ears over?
Yeah, I thought you normally do. Well, it's normally when it's cold, but
All right, Zane, I'm going one extra this year. It's
Oh,
not just
God.
a wig for me, mate.
oh,
Birdo headgear. When we talk about New South Wales, we talk about how Matt Burton should be on the bench. How's that look?
is that given to you by Matt Burton or?
Nah, this is my. This is one I wore in the charity match.
Or
when
did
I-
he
when I
throw it
was
to a
mate.
child in the crowd and you jumped over and stole it? Or
Yeah, I stole.
something?
I actually stole this off a
Horrible
kid
person.
on the weekend, even though Burton didn't play, so that doesn't really make sense. How's that look, Matt
No,
Burton
it's
headgear?
good.
Because on
Trying
this
to figure, it's like a
podcast,
player with like an afro that wore headgear. Like I know Brian Toto has
this is
recently, but
hurting my head. I don't know. Yeah, I guess like Ty,
Yeah, he
Luai
sort of-
has long hair.
yeah.
This is barely on A. This is not comfortable. Now, Zane, on Orange Peelers, we are very much pro bench for Birdo, aren't we? Birdo for bench.
I'm more him for 18th man, but I know you want him on the bench.
Do you want him on the bench?
I'd be happy to see him on the bench.
Yeah, good call, good call.
Maybe
'cause-
not start him. I wouldn't start
No,
him.
not
honestly.
start. Hey,
Never.
Burton for bench. That's the hashtag. Birdo with the number 4 bench. This is hurting my head. This was not a good idea. James Tedesco at fullback. No Dylan Edwards,
Yes.
Zane.
Strange one. Mind games, was it? Was he always playing?
No.
Brendan Haynes, was he always going to be playing?
That's a rumour, out there.
Apparently
from
this is
Brendan
going to...
Haynes.
But the question is, if the Blues win this game, do they stick with Edwards or do they stick with Tedesco?
That's the I've got to undo this. Hang on. Give me a sec. I'm dying here. I think that's the main question, isn't it?
I think the Blues lose, they go back to Edwards, but if they win, they'll stick with the same side.
Yeah, obviously it depends injuries, but I think if New South Wales win this game, Tedesco keeps his spot.
And Edwards will be 18th man next game.
Yeah,
That's my prediction.
Yeah. Which sucks for Dylan Edwards. You could almost say it's unfair, but
No, you got Rooster
That's
supporters
Origin.
coming out and saying, Tedesco's going to end Edwards' Origin career here. I'm like, how long does Tedesco have left? Yeah, just shush, please.
it could though.
Yeah,
It could.
Edwards will still be around when Tedesco
But if
retires.
another
so-
fullback emerges,
yeah,
got Pappenhausen in there and stuff. But I feel so bad for Dylan Edwards. But James Tedesco, not a bad backup.
No, not at all.
I'm going to put it
You
on
saw
the...
me questioning what's the point in having reserves if we're going to call people in who aren't even in the camp
Yeah.
to come play? Like, there should be a rule on that. Like,
Yeah.
you can't just say, he's injured. Well, how about we give this guy a call?
Yeah,
see
how
what
does
he's-
it work where
like,
you
how are the
have...
reserves going to feel about that? They're like, well.
Well, you had all
why
the
are we
blow-ups already about Matt Burton being 18th man and not being able to go back to clubland. This actually upsets me more because it just doesn't make sense how the teams come out and they pick 3 reserves to cover injuries or whatever in the camp. And then if there's an injury to a position they didn't cover well enough, they're like, we'll just call somebody else in. What's the point in having reserves?
Exactly right.
What's the point? Mad should be punished for picking 2 halves and a forward. And he should have to put Sully or Critter to fullback. Or like maybe they should make it you pick 22-man squads, which is what happens in the NRL on Tuesdays anyway. I don't understand. And I swear it used to be more than a 20-man squad. And
I think
just-
one year they did
I
like
don't
a
get it.
23-man. I think that was the COVID year.
Yeah,
Impossible
true.
series win.
I feel like
Queensland.
I might have even been more that year.
yeah.
But yeah, Tedesco, not a bad backup. He's captained his state. He's captained the
He's not
country.
captaining this time,
He's
though, is
played
he?
that many Origins. He's won multiple Origins.
He'll come in and
You
he'll
could have a
kill
worse
it.
backup.
He'll kill it.
This is giving me a headache, eh? Oh,
Anyway,
the headgear will go back on when we get
we'll
to
move
Matt
on.
Burton.
Brian Toto.
And Zach Lomax on the wings.
Brian Toto, best winger in the comp. Don't need to talk about him. He was always going to be it. Zach Lomax, so I think you were pretty heavy on him not being there.
Yeah, I personally
I
would
was
have had...
for it.
I would have had either
Fox.
even Sully. I would have had Fox. I would have had Carraz over Lomax. Call me biased.
No, I
but,
like
yeah.
Lomax being there.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm very worried about him defensively, and he can make errors. And the thing
I
that
don't think that's
scares
going to matter.
the
I
thing
think-
that scares me more than anything, Zane, is that flick pass.
But
I'm
he's
just
on the
waiting
wing.
for it to
He's on
toss
the
a
wing and
flick
doesn't have
pass
a
over the
reason.
sideline.
Doesn't have a reason to do
We've
it. on
seen
the
him
wing.
do flick
He's going
passes
to have to do
this
it
year.
back on the inside if that's the
Yeah.
case and not throw it in the touch. But
no, he could. He's either going to go really good.
I think
or
all
really
of that's
bad.
going to go out the wall. This is an Origin. This is the biggest game of his career. He
Yeah.
will not let the state down. He will come out and kill it. And
Far
I'm predicting
out.
him anytime try scorer.
We need Zane in the sheds before the game. I want you to give him that
And
exact
that's the same
speech.
scenario with Joseph Suwali. Like, I know
Suwali.
Buzz Rothfield's not a fan of him being there because he's leaving. Who honestly cares? But
Well, that's where I'm like, if they wanted Suwali in the team, put him on the wing and put Burton or Raymond or like somebody else at centre.
yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm a bit almost confused about it, but it is what it is. I can see where Madge is coming from, and Zach Lomax might come out and have a great game. He's capable of
I
it,
reckon he will.
and hopefully he does.
I reckon he will.
In the halves, no Cleary, no
Luai.
Moses.
No Walker, no
Who else
Hines.
got injured? Walker got
Walker.
injured. Everyone got injured.
Yeah.
So Luai, Hines in the halves.
I like it.
Yeah.
This is the chance for Nico Hines to prove that he's a prime halfback in this competition because he's failed to do it yet.
Yeah.
This will be his opportunity.
And there's
to
been a
stop-
couple of games where he's gone a little bit missing. Obviously, his Origin audition wasn't fantastic. Him getting injured in the game almost made it a little bit better for him because he wasn't having the best game ever. And in the same game, Luai played himself into the Origin jersey.
And
Back into
Luai
it.
proven himself about Cleary. Like, we all forget he's going to the Tigers next year, Luai.
Yeah.
We all forget
Yeah.
that. That's going to be very interesting to see how he goes there. But
Yeah.
people said after last year he'd never get picked again. And that's just gone out the window
Yeah.
once again. But that's because, like the Cherry Evans situation, I had no one else there to do it. So
Yeah.
why not? But, I mean, I feel like Luai's going to have a solid game, probably step people a few times like he always
Yeah.
does. But, you know, I think that's the best option that we
Yeah.
had available. Like, people were throwing up, like, Luke Brooks as well. Like, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, Luke Brooks, I don't think would have been a terrible decision, but
I
whatever.
will say, Zane, something that excites me about this New South Wales team, especially with Tedesco in there now, is just the amount of people that have a point to prove. You got Tedesco, who got snubbed, and he's got a point to prove in his return. Luai, people said he'd never play again. He had that shocking game in game 2 and got dropped. Point to prove. Hines, people always bring up his debut, his Origin debut, that he's not a big game player, that he loses finals. He's got a point to prove. Jake Trbojevic, his first time captaining, he's got a point to prove. You could argue Lomax and Suwali have points to prove with people questioning their selections. I just feel like this is a team that has a point to prove, and that's really exciting. On Nico Hines, I think it's just it feels wrong to say, and I feel bad saying it, but like he hasn't delivered in big games. He does tend to not go well, and that does scare me a little bit as a New South Wales fan. But I do hope he steps up and has a good game. And Luai, yeah, I think I'm confident that he'll do a job.
Yeah, so now we go to the forwards.
Jake Trbojevic,
Gerbo,
our skipper,
captain.
and Payne Haas.
Really like it.
Yep.
And Payne Haas just speaks for himself. Like, you know,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
always bad. The number 9, Robson.
Actually, before we move
Robson,
on,
like-
Jake Trbojevic, what do you make of his captaincy?
He doesn't captain at club level. That's why I expect him to go someone like Isaiah Yeo or even
Yeah.
like Cameron Murray if he was in the side.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
for
yeah,
now.
of
But
course.
Trbojevic will captain Manly when DC
Yeah.
moves on, which
Yep.
I think it's a good start for him.
Very
Like,
nice
perfect,
guy.
Yeah, perfect guy, but he's got that grunt in him,
Yep.
aggression.
Do you reckon
Go.
it's awkward between him and Tedesco now that
I
Tedesco's
don't
back
think
in
it is
camp?
at all. No way.
He's too nice.
Both of them are.
Honestly,
I'm sure Tedesco will be absolutely happy for him.
I can just picture Tedesco going back into camp, and when they run into each other, Jake Trbojevic is like, "I'll take the captaincy, Tedesco. I'm sorry," because he's just that nice of a bloke that he probably tried to give it back to Tedesco.
You watch on the night, see if Tedesco like goes over to the referee and does the
Yeah.
talking, and
Tedesco
like,
tries
sorry,
to challenge it, and Turbo's like, "Oh no, you're all good, Teddy. You're all good," because he's a nice guy. Angus Crichton and Martin
we
on the
forgot
edges.
Robson.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Robson.
Why is Coruscant not there?
Yeah, that's why I forgot.
People
Robson.
have pointed out the fact that Madge has not picked a Tiger or a Rabbitoh. I'm like, it's not bitter towards their clubs. It's probably because they're two bottom teams on the
Yeah.
table. I'm pretty sure that's the
And
reason.
Murray's injured.
And Murray's injured. He would have been in the side if he was fit.
Yeah, sure.
Most
Well,
definitely.
he had
but
to have been,
that's
yeah.
where we'll look at for game 2, where that's going to pan out with Murray. But Robson,
Yeah. I
being
wouldn't have picked.
underwhelming this year. Like, not to the
Yeah.
point where he's like terrible, but
Yeah, no,
I
yeah.
think Coruscant's been great for the Tigers. I think he's
Yeah.
really guided them. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just shocked that he's not there.
I think he's carrying a little bit of an injury, and maybe that scared Madge.
Yeah.
But then
I mean,
he's
Madge is the one who signed him to the Tigers and also
Yeah.
debuted him at the Rabbitohs.
But like, if he's worried about him having an injury, why has he picked Liam Martin and Nico Hines?
Exactly. That's a strange,
That's where it's
strange
like, it's not a
decision.
good
that.
argument.
But I mean, like, you know, Madge, he won a comp with Happy. I sound like Shane Flanagan there.
Yeah,
don't I?
you did sound like Shane
Won a
Flanagan
comp.
there.
I want to comp about, you know, he's
You
won a comp
literally-
with Happy. He signed him to the Tigers before he got sacked. So it's strange that, I don't know what's happened there.
Martin and Crichton on the edges.
Perfect back line. Like the two, out of New South Wales players, the two most informed backs in the competition.
Informed?
Cameron Murray Not necessarily in form, but the best, I think, at the moment.
No, I was going to say in form and experienced.
But do you think Cameron Murray takes one of those positions if he returns?
It's
Or do you reckon he goes on the bench? Because I reckon he's going to go on the bench for Hudson Young. Or does he go to lock and McInnes go to the bench?
I just think it depends if they win or lose.
Yeah.
I think if they win, he probably gets onto the bench. If they lose, he probably starts at lock.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I think. Is he back for game 2?
He's back next week for the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
So he will be.
Yeah, because he's got to be in there. He's just so good.
He is.
Speaking of locks, Cameron Murray, not Cameron, the other Cameron.
Another former Rabbitohs legend we got there. He's been talked up for years, McInnes, to play Origin. Maguire was finally the guy to give him his shot. Him. And he is going to have a blinder. Hopefully. Defensively. He'll make the most tackles. I'm calling it now.
I'll say this now. If he doesn't make 70 tackles, he will be in the sheds after the game making extra tackles just to get up to 70. He will not leave that field without making 1,000,000 tackles because that's what he's there to do and that's what he does. He's a tackler. He just tackles anything that moves. He tackles things that don't move. I can't wait to see genuinely how many tackles that bloke makes. Like, he might tackle the 18th man. He'll just start, if he gets benched, he'll just start tackling the trainers.
Have a very good game.
Yeah, I think so too.
Then to the bench.
The bench, I'll go all 4. Stop me when you hear the utility, Zane. Isaiah Yeo, Hamole Olakau'atu, Spencer Leniu, and Hudson Young. Didn't stop me.
Yeah, no utility.
No utility on the bench.
Isaiah, you know how I feel about him in Origin. He's on the bench this time, which is what I called for last year. Just bring him off the bench as a middle.
He was too involved.
He wasn't too involved. He's just too slow for Origin, I think. That's why, not even a biased Rabbitohs view, I think Murray should have been there because he's got the pace, unlike Yo.
And Murray was locking game 3, right?
He was.
And then they won.
That was more because they had Walker there as well.
I feel like Isaiah Yo, he's a very good player, especially in Clubland, and he deserves to be in the Origin team.
Oh, yeah.
But I just don't think the ball should run through his hands as much as
Yo's the best player in the competition.
Really? I mean, he's up there. He's a good player.
Oh, God, yeah.
I just feel like
as well.
He's Dubbo boy.
Yeah.
They love him out in Dubbo. Plenty of good Dubbo players. But, I just feel like the play needs to go through the halfback. The halfback needs to have more control than Isaiah Yo. And in Origin, although he's, I'm not trying to knock him, but he's a good player, but I just feel like he was probably a little bit too involved. Same with James Tedesco. That was one of his problems last year where he just was getting the ball more than he should have. I think you ought to have the halfback running the team. I think Isaiah as well, he's probably going to play in the middle more than he will lock.
I reckon he will.
Hamole Olakau'atu.
The wish version of Keon Koloamatangi, as I call him. They're like the same player, but
and then
one's better than the other. But
they're both the Timu version of Viliami Kikau.
Oh, possibly. But I mean, they look alike. They've got long last names, but Hamale got the shot this time. Keon got it last year. Let's see if Hamale can get a job done.
I'm so excited to see Olakau'atu as well. I am so excited. He's almost... Yeah, he's one of the players I'm most excited for because he's so hard to tackle.
Yeah.
You just see people that just can't tackle him. Another man that's hard to tackle, Spencer Leniu.
I wouldn't have had him there.
Yeah.
But I can see why he's been picked.
Yeah.
But I think just what's happened recently with him and the amount of games he's played this season, I just would not have had him there this year.
Very
I
fair.
had him in my side last year, but this year I'm like, he's played 4 or 5 games.
Yeah,
but... I'm excited to see how he goes out there. I know he's going to create an impact.
He's going to bring impact off the bench. That's what he's going to bring.
If there's going to be a biff, he's going to be involved.
Yeah.
And everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
Was it Harson Tino that time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it being Spencer Leniu this time.
That was kind of a poo-slinger of a fight, that one.
No, that was a good fight.
Not really.
They got banned off. I posted that on TikTok and I got banned.
It's not as iconic as Gagai and Burton and Tino. Well, Tino was in there as well.
Way better.
Yeah. And then even the iconic Gallen versus Miles.
Yeah, that's a good fight.
Who else has there been?
There's been plenty, man.
I'm trying to think of recent ones.
Recent, not so much.
Not recent, but they do happen.
Reynolds and Thurston, 2014 game 2.
Oh, the slap, yeah.
Yeah. I think Spencer Leniu. I didn't have him in my team, but yeah, I feel like culturally as well, there's a bit of questions with what he got suspended for. But hey, if he's going to come in and he's going to do a job, so whatever. And then Hudson Young in the 17.
Yes, that's obviously a biased Madge pick there because I know Madge loves Hudson Young.
Yeah.
I guess, we'll see
He's
how
a
he
good
goes.
player.
But I have a feeling he could drop out for Matt Burton.
Yeah,
but I think it's a bit late now. But
will we see how he goes? Are we going to see him play?
I feel like he's just there as filler for when Cameron Murray returns and he's just, oh well, see how go the rest of the season.
Let's talk Matt Burton, Zane. Let's talk Matt Burton.
Okay.
We went in depth last week and I may even just copy and paste our convo from last week's podcast into this one because
May as
we
well.
went pretty in depth.
Let's click
But
My question is, where does Cameron Murray fit into this side when he returns? Do you reckon
Yeah.
Hudson Young comes out?
can I give you a hot take? I think Hudson Young comes out before next Wednesday.
Right,
I think
for Burton.
Matt Burton's going to come onto the bench. I
Right,
can't make sense.
I have a feeling Burton will make it in there.
You agree?
I reckon it'll be for Olaquatu though, not
Yeah,
for
okay.
Young. And I know the
'Cause,
Manly supporters are going to be
Like, just
devil about
looking
that.
at the bench and looking at Origin historically, I reckon it happened. It didn't happen in game 3, but more often than not, an outside back goes down injured. And looking at this team, you got Isaiah Yeo and Hudson Young. One of them is going to be going to centre because we don't have Damien Cook to go to centre now. And you look at the Queensland side, Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow, Reece Walsh. These are really
one
fast
of them will
players.
probably get injured.
Who?
I don't know. One of them probably will. That's why they got covered there. So
Well, maybe. But my point is that if you have like Isaiah Yeo at centre, Reece Walsh or Hammer or basically anyone in that Queensland backline are just going to absolutely smoke them and dust them, and it's game over. We've seen so many times this year, games decided early in the game when a centre or a winger goes down, and that's it. Look at the Dragons on the weekend and the Dragons on Anzac Day. 2 games we've already highlighted as games where Lomax had a shocker. The difference in those games for the Dragons, their 2 worst performances this year, the centre gets injured and Tom Eisenhuth goes to centre and they get flogged. Look, and that's not the only time it's happened this year. It happens so much where a centre's gone down injured. Like the Bulldogs in round 1 against the Eels. Like there's so many examples where a centre or winger gets injured, a back row goes to cover it, and it's game over.
Addo Good Friday last year.
Addo Good Friday last year.
Who else was it the next week when Ockenball came on the field?
Torpenay
against
or
the
Alamoti.
Eels. Someone got injured. And then
Oh, I don't
Ockenball came
remember.
on and Eels just ran right through
Yeah,
that. through
exactly.
that side.
But like you get the idea. Like you'd have
Yeah,
to agree. Like statistically,
I do.
more often than not, in Origin this happens, and in NRL games, I reckon I'd love to. I should have gone and done research. Surely like random stats guy has done it. Where what's the win percentage of teams that have an outside back go down? Like it can't be high, and so I just don't understand in Origin where historically players get injured. We saw a game. Not last year, the year before, where there was like 5 head knocks in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that
game 3, 2022. Yeah. Who went there? It was Cobbo, Murray, Collins.
Yeah,
someone else goes.
Just everyone who didn't go down.
Yeah,
a bit of shorter list.
that was
It
an exciting game, that one.
That was a great game of rugby
Yeah.
league, even though we lost. But my point is, like, that it happens so often in Origin to have no coverage on your bench at all. Like, at least if you have a hooker there, that's somewhat of coverage. This is 4 forwards on the bench in the modern game in Origin. I don't see how that's going to be the final.
That's how Madge likes it.
And maybe it's a risk.
Look back at his Rabbitohs days, he had all forwards on the bench.
Madge, that was 10 years ago when that was the game back then. The game wasn't as fast as it is now. Most teams had 4 forwards back then. But my point is, I just don't understand why you wouldn't have the back there. But to Madge's credit...
I think you're making a statement because you want Matt Burton there.
It could be Luke here. I don't care who it is in the 18th man. It could be Scotty Drinkwater. I disagree with the 4-forward bench, but to Madge's credit, if nobody gets injured, it's a masterstroke. I honestly believe if nobody goes down, we win. Because our bench, from both sides, if neither team gets injured, we win. Like our bench is so much superior to theirs if there's no injuries. It's a bigger bench. But that's the risk Madge is going with, and it seems like he's just all chips in. Let's pretend nobody's getting hurt. Let's try and win Origin. And I don't mind that. But me personally, I would have had a utility or at the very least a hooker on the bench. I would have had, like you're trying to imply that it's because I want Burton in there. I'd rather Burton not picked at all. I want him playing for the Bulldogs.
I guess the Knights on the weekend.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
We'll get to soon.
Exactly. But like, it doesn't matter who it is. It could be Keary, Burton, Drinkwater. I don't care who it is. I think they should have a utility on the bench. But what's your thoughts? Do you agree, disagree?
Both. I don't think 2 hookers, but I think Burton in this sort of side would be perfect on the bench, and that's why I have a feeling Hudson Young's going to come out for him.
Yeah, and I agree. It just makes sense because you can cover literally 1 through to what? No, he can't play. He can't cover hooker. He probably could, to be fair, but you got McInnes there. But 1 through to 7, he covers.
I'm trying to work out.
Especially when you got Nico Hines carrying a calf injury. Why wouldn't you?
I believe he's going to be perfectly fine.
But like, he's not perfectly fine. You saw what happened on the weekend. He got a head knock, came off, and he couldn't play.
Well, who can
again.
play halves if he goes off? Then you reckon?
Burton.
So, but yeah.
Oh,
true.
you're saying if Burton's not there? That's exactly what I mean. There's nobody there. They'd probably have to go McInnes or Yeo.
They'd probably have Yo there.
Or you go like
playmaker role. Dylan Edwards.
Or like Sully or Edwards.
Oh no, you'd move
Critter. He's played 6.
You'd move Edwards out maybe and put Suwali to fullback or Lomax to fullback, something like that.
It's a nightmare.
Even Crichton to fullback if they had to, and then move someone to the centres.
Yeah.
But
that's a nightmare. That is a rugby league nightmare. Yeah, and I understand that maybe nobody gets injured. Fair enough, but I just think in just historically what happens in Origin,
someone will.
You probably
Someone's
it's so much safer to have a utility.
Like Sportsbet need to pull up like a thing about that, like first injury of the game.
Yeah, literally.
Who it could be?
Imagine if
It's normally a back row or a centre.
Yeah, usually. All right, we're back.
Yeah.
We've just talked about Matt Burton, but it's been nearly a week since. Games in 2 days. Have you changed feelings on do you think...
I'm the same. I wouldn't put him in at this point. No
What
way.
do you mean at this point?
I'd keep him as a reserve and see what happens.
But why? What's changed from last week?
Because they've been training this structure all week. Oh, we don't know that though. To tell
but
you
they can't make changes now. The change happens 24 hours and an hour before kickoff. So it's still the same as it was last week. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's 24 hours before kickoff right now. Or less than 24 hours. Oh, yeah, it's Monday, isn't it?
It's Monday, mate. Come on. That's a shocker.
I'm not used to this. I'm not used to this.
Yeah, we usually record on Tuesdays. But yeah, I think Matt Burton or Luke Keary, because I don't want it to sound biased. I've got the Matt Burton headgear on, but I think they have to have a utility on the bench. We've seen what Queensland have done. I read out the stat before. In 70% of the last 10 Origins, there's been an outside back going down, and over 10 outside backs have been injured in the last 10 games. I just think you have to have coverage. And at the moment, as you would have just heard from our conversation last week, the coverage at the moment is either Isaiah Yeo or Hudson Young goes to centre. And I hate that so much. That's a nightmare defensively. As I said last week, and you just would have heard it, teams that have their centre go down and a forward going to the centre, they usually lose. And I just think it's just so simple to bring in a utility on the bench and have the coverage there. We've seen it so many times in Origin. Brad Fittler, I remember in 2020, he didn't put Paps on the bench. Tedesco got hurt. He got torn apart. You have to have a utility in the modern game.
Or you put Damien Cook to centre like you did last year.
Yeah, or you go Damien Cook to centre
We just got to try there, but we all know how that went.
He's an Origin level centre, but yeah, I think you have to have a utility on the bench just as coverage, and especially like Matt Burton, who has that long kicking game. Not like everyone goes, so he can put up mad torps. Not even for his torps. He doesn't even do torps anymore, and that's a bone to pick another time. But like Matt Burton's long kicking game is, in my opinion, better than Hines, better than Luai. And a long kicking game is so important in Origin. And I would have had him at the centres purely for that reason, just to have that extra element to the kicking. But yeah, I just think you have to have him there because if anyone from 1 through to 7 goes down, it's game over. Like if Hines, who's carrying an injury, goes down, who's halfback?
Do they move Teddy there and then move Critter the fullback from that point?
Yeah, it's not looking good. But in saying all that, I do have a feeling that Madge is just going to leave it.
Okay, well, there we go.
Like I personally would put Burton there, but yeah, I've got a feeling Madge isn't going to do it. Okay. What do you think?
We'll have to wait and see. In 48 hours, not 24 hours.
Yeah, it just scares me. Hey, like the thought of 1 through to 7. But to Madge's credit, I think I said it in the clip you would have just watched. If nobody gets injured, he's a genius because we have 4 forwards on the bench and Queensland have 2. So that's that. Let's move on, Zane. It's so hot in headgear. Let's go to Instagram Q&A. We've asked the Instagram followers to give us some questions relating to Origin. Let's get into it. Some of these we might have already touched on, but does the lineup improve with Tedesco?
I'm going to say no because I feel like they've been training their structures all week. No, because Edwards is the best fullback in the competition and Tedesco isn't. So no, it doesn't. There
you go. I agree, but also at the same time, and they were talking about this, I think on the Matty John show maybe, or it might have been on Channel 9 somewhere. I heard on the weekend where Tedesco he's coming in with a point to prove. He's coming in with less pressure and less stress from like being in the camp during the week. Obviously, the stress is there and stuff. Being outside of that environment, we see a lot of the time players come into Origin late and kill it. You look at Dearden last year, Munster sort of in 2020 where he came in late because he was bendering off the back of the grand final. I hate to bring up this man's name, but like Brett Finch, like he did it. Yeah. Joey did it in 05. So sometimes it can work well. And Tedesco with a point to prove is scary. And I do see a world where Tedesco has an absolute blinder. But I think Edwards probably fit the system that Madge wanted to play with better. Yeah. So it'll depend on... This is a bit obvious, but it'll depend on how Tedesco goes.
Yeah,
Do you think Moses is a better pick than Hines for game 2?
If they win, then no. If they lose, then yes.
Yeah,
that's my response to that.
That's also
one,
a bit obvious, but yeah, that's like fair enough. I will say, watching Moses play on Thursday night, I was begging for Hines to get injured during the week, because if Tedesco can go into camp, why can't Moses?
Exactly.
Even though they've got Kieran Burton there, why can't Moses? Respectfully to Nico Hines, why don't they fake an injury and just put Moses in? Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe it's a bit of mind games. Because I think Moses is a better pick than Hines, to be honest. I think Moses is a better player than Hines, and I'd rather Moses there. Moses and Lua would be an interesting dynamic.
Well, they played together last year, game 2.
Oh, yeah, true. And they lost, so it is an interesting dynamic, isn't it? Which debut player will go the best?
I said before, I would have said Dylan Edwards, but Zach Lomax.
I'm going to go Ola Kawatu.
I reckon Zach Lomax.
Yeah, I'm just so excited for Ola Kawatu. This is a very good question, Zane. Who will win Game 2 in 2027?
Western Australia? I don't know.
You reckon they're going to expand?
No, probably Queensland. Who wins Game 2s the most? Probably.
I'm going to go
Blues,
New South Wales.
Yeah, probably Blues, because normally Queensland win the first, Blues win the second.
That's what I feel. Yeah, I'm going to go New South Wales to win that one. Mitch Woods will probably be halfback by then. How exciting. Who has the better team on paper?
I think the Blues.
Really?
Without Fafita in Queensland. Like, without Fafita and Selwyn Cobbo not starting, and without Munster, I think the Blues do.
I think the Blues without Cleary, without Moses, without Edwards, etc., with like
I still think
Lomax
they've got a better side on paper.
I think Queensland have a much better side on paper.
I don't agree, actually.
You might not be able to answer this one, Zane, but who has the better hot dogs, Accor or Suncorp? I guess that's like hot dog origin. I can safely say Accor Stadium does, because Suncorp's hot dogs literally nearly gave me food poisoning. They were horrible. And Accor, not the best, but they're definitely better than Suncorp. We sort of talked about this already, but we talked about this already. How
until
will Cobbo
only
be used?
gets injured before the game or early, and everyone will be shocked that it's happened.
Yeah. The person that asked that question, they actually said that they think he could go into back row.
I mean, why not? So. He could.
I don't think
he could
so.
If he had to. But
I don't think so. But yeah, we talked about that before. And then favorite Origin memory or moment.
The streaker. It's got to be the
Out of everything ever, you go the streaker.
It was hilarious. Just how much... or even Aaron Wood's leap of faith.
Yeah, I rate that.
When not everyone ignored Jennings, and then Jack Bird fell over and Woods fell over, and whatever happened. It's just so much happened.
I'm going to go... I've got a few. So I think it's got to be Hodkinson's try in 2014. Having like the Bulldogs halfback win New South Wales Origin break the streak was so sick. Wonder. Hey, he played 2 Origins.
Yeah, but his career was just the 1 year wonder.
Oh, yeah.
2014.
I wouldn't say 1 year.
Tell me what he did after 2014.
2015 had a good year. Played Origin.
No, it's okay.
And 2013.
And he went to the Knights.
Cool, because
I remember he went to Manly like 2018, and he cost them like 2 games when he shanked the field goals, and you're like, well...
Nah, he wasn't very good out.
He's at the Sharks at the back end, wasn't he? At some point,
at the Sharks
poor
as well.
Guy, he kind of fell away.
He was very good at the Bulldogs. Like, legitimately. He took it to grand finals.
And he signed to the Knights, who were in the rut, and kind of ruined his career.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, either that or it has to be Tedesco in the corner, 2019 Game 3. I can recite that commentary. That is a moment and a half.
Or even Gordon Tallis getting like sent off.
Well, I don't remember.
Swearing at the referee.
Yeah, but I wasn't around for that.
Neither.
But like Tedesco in the corner, like we did a Queensland to Queensland for the first and only time ever. It was just because we were winning, and I remember celebrating, being like, we can't lose this, and then Queensland
even Gus
came
Gould
back.
said like, oh, that's the game there when Cook scored, and then Queensland scored like 2 quick tries.
Queensland came back, and it's just like, I can't believe this happened again. And then we were like 40 seconds away from Golden Point, and they go 60 meters.
Extra time.
Yeah, well, extra time.
Extra time.
Then they go 60 meters, and Tedesco scores, and it was just iconic with Pearce and Maloney in the halves as well. Let's move on, Zane, to our predictions. Let's start with our series predictions, because it's obviously
I'm going to say the Blues win 2-1.
Blues 2-1.
They win the first 2. Queensland win the third up there.
I'm also going to go Blues 2-1. Honestly, kind of think Queensland win, but I'm going to be loyal. I'm going to be loyal.
The Blues are going to do it this year.
I'm going to go Blues 2-1. Wally Lewis medal.
Well, I'm going to say Cameron McInnes.
McInnes. I don't hate that, actually.
I'm going to say
there'd be value in that if we had a betting sponsor and we wanted to give him a shout out. I'm going to go Matt Burton. Okay. I think Matt Burton plays off the bench in game 1, has a blinder, and then forces his way into the halves in game 2 and 3 and wins. That's a
blind shout of Cameron McInnes.
Yeah, I think yours is better than mine.
Or will it be Billy Slater as coach?
Oh,
you'd have to.
Do you want to change to Billy Slater? This is going to be posted on Instagram. It'd be kind of funny.
Yeah. Billy Slater in a losing series when he played 2 games can win man of the series. So anyone can really.
All right, let's talk about game 1 predictions. Let's start with the winner and the score.
I'm going to say in Sydney, I'm going to say the Blues win. I'm going to say 16-8.
Yep, I rate that. I think Sydney's usually low scoring.
Low score in the first game in general. 16-8 to the Blues.
Yep,
and
perfect.
I'm going to say, to be exact, I'm going to say it's going to be 6-0 half-time to the Blues.
All right, let's do half-times as well then. Why not?
Yeah.
6-0 H2. I'm going to go New South Wales purely because I want to, back my state in. A score. I told you we were doing scores and I haven't even thought of one. I reckon low scoring. I'm going to go New South Wales 18-8.
I was nearly going to say 18-8.
Oh,
I'm going to say 16.
18-8 and half-time, New South Wales 10-0.
Okay.
So kind of similar.
So penalty goal then? Another try late or?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. Maybe they would lead 12-0 penalty goal at the start of the second half.
Yeah.
And then Queensland cheeky comeback, 12-8, and then New South Wales score and make it 18-8. There you go. Put your house on that.
Yeah.
First try scorer.
I'm going to go Zach Lomax.
Yeah, nice. I feel like the right winger does tend to score the first try from all the clips NRL have been posting. Turbo, Fox.
And I think it's not. I reckon it'll be late in the first half.
Yeah, okay. For the 6-0 halftime lead. First try scorer. I'm going to go. I'm going to go Hammer. Queens. That goes against what I've said.
Yeah.
Let's change my halftime prediction to 10-6. Oh dear. First try scorer Hammer, but 0 points. No, I'm going to go Hammer and then halftime 10-6, I guess, because it needs to make sense. This is going to go towards our yearly annual thing.
Can't wait to talk about our last week's tomorrow.
Oh, great stuff. Great stuff. You got one right.
I did.
Yeah.
Thanks, Para.
Tune into our regular Orange Peelers podcast each week if you're new here. Anytime try scorer. Get a bit smoky, surely.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking going smoky. Why don't I go like a bolter and say Jermaine Hopgood?
Hopgood?
Yeah.
I rate it. Off the bench?
Yeah.
I'm also going to go someone off the bench.
I was very close to saying Harry Grant.
Yeah? I don't hate He's also off the bench.
Yeah, I was very close to saying him early in the second half.
Yeah.
Straight away in the second half.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I'm also going to go someone off the bench, Zane. Matt Burton anytime. He's going to get put on the bench.
It's not there yet.
He's going to get put on the bench and he's going to score a try.
If he doesn't play, who's it going to be?
I'm just going to stick with Matt Burton.
Is it going to be Yo? Or
I'll just go with Matt Burton. I'm loyal.
Okay. Well,
if he doesn't get named, I don't get it. Whatever. I'm going Matt Burton. Back it in, lock it in. Madge, please put him on the bench, please. Please. Burton for bench, please. The series depends on it. I remember I commented on their posts. They put up a post about Tedesco being in, and I was like, it doesn't matter who the fullback is. If Burton's not on the bench, we're going to lose. And it got 100 likes somehow. It's like, everyone agrees. Everyone agrees. Burton's got to be on the bench. Man of the match. Don't say Matt Burton. Don't say Matt Burton. Don't say Matt Burton.
I'm going to go Teddy.
Tedesco. Yeah. I don't like. Yeah, that's valid, but.
Yeah, or you could go Billy Slater again.
I was tempted to go Tedesco for Wally Lewis medal.
You reckon win this player of the
series? If he
series?
comes out and dominates game 1, he's going to keep his spot. But I'm not going to go Tedesco for man of the match. I'm going to go. I've gone New South Wales to win. So tempting to go Matt Burton. Hey, do you go Hines and just hope he has a good game? Haas. I don't. It's kind of tricky, eh? McInnes.
I don't even Gerbo would be.
Yeah, that's a shout actually. I actually don't hate
Robson,
that at all.
because you remember when Jack Whiting got picked on the centres a few years ago and he got bagged Fitler for doing it?
Yeah,
and White was the best player.
Yeah.
So you could see a world like that with Robson where he has an absolute blind.
Yeah, I was literally thinking that I'm gonna go Gerbo. I know you said it, and I feel bad for taking it, but I don't. As captain, I think he's gonna play bigger minutes, and I don't know, just lead from the front, and I don't know.
And do we predict our biffo?
What's that? Who's going to fire?
Predict the biff,
Yeah, all
right.
Say
Spencer Leniu and Jaden Sewer.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Leniu
v. Sewer.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Burton Gagai.
Burton Gagai.
I'm going to go.
You got to have Leniu. It's
got to be Leniu, but who's he fighting? That's where I'm like, I don't know. Who's most likely to fight in
I'd say
Queensland?
it's got to be Sewer, or it could even be like, could it be Fodawaker, like even a Broncos player, like who might have a bit of drama with.
I'm gonna go Nanai. Nanai.
Yeah,
I
Nanai
don't
actually
know.
isn't. Yeah,
He
it's
scares
gotta
me
be
a little bit. Nanai v. Who's he gonna fight?
Lenu. It's got to be Lenu, doesn't it?
It almost has to be, doesn't it?
I can't think of
has
any
to
other
be.
Blues player that would get in a beer fight.
Is there anyone like Lippy? Like if Reid Marnie was in Origin, who just
Luai or Lenu?
give me
has to be.
Luai. I'm trying to think like who's Lippy. I feel like somebody's gonna lip up to Nanai, and then are they on the same edge? I think they might be. Yeah, I feel like they are. I feel like Nano's right, Luai's left. So yeah, give me Nanai
Like
and
who else is
Luai.
there? There could be like Jai Arrow, James Sesko, if they're both there. Like
Arrow's not
Yeah,
there
yeah.
though, but yeah.
And
Is
so-
he the one that like slammed Tedesco? Yeah.
When he didn't know he was knocked out, by the
Yeah,
way.
oh,
Like
yeah.
you saw him
Didn't know.
seconds later, like concerned and was so sorry.
no.
Like,
Nah,
Jai
grub.
Arrow, he's a very
Grub.
nice guy.
Grub.
Don't diss Jai Arrow. He's
Grub.
a very nice person.
Is there anything else that we can like?
No,
not
I think-
bet on, but
I
predict?
think that's good enough.
What's
mate.
like
Oh, should we-
streaker? Is it going to be a streaker?
No.
No
I reckon there
streaker?
will be, no.
I'm going to go yes. Like I reckon somebody gets onto the field. I'll be at the game. I'll be able to tell you. So Zane's going no. I'm going to go yes. Yes. I can't really think of anything else. Is there anything else Origin-y?
No, I think that's
You
it.
reckon that's it? Zane's had enough. All right.
Yeah, it's late here, isn't it?
No, it is. I'm ready for bed. All right. That'll do us, Zane. That's Origin Peelers done and dusted. Up the Blues.
Up the Blues.
Let's trot, baby.
Ba-da-ba-da-da, da-da-da-da-da.